Howdy, folks. Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer, and it is this week's campaign update for our Dolmenwood campaign using the Old School Essentials rule set. As always, if you're not caught up, you can always go back and check the playlist. I have all of the videos that will get you up to speed in the playlist, so you can go back, watch whatever you missed, or if you haven't seen any of it, you can start from the beginning and get yourself caught up. Which brings us to our session last Friday. Now, where we had left off, we had, in the previous session, we had gone down into the tomb to retrieve the sword of Sir Brandon that was supposed to be able to help us slay the dragon creature, giant lizard creature, which we had done. We also got a silver battle axe and a magic shield and some other things to help us. We were able to retrieve out of there after fighting our asses off to get them. And what I had forgotten about the very end of that session was that we had heard a rumor that the lair for this dragon lizard thing was inside of a mine, and we had gone into this mine, and there were kobolds in there, and the kobolds had set traps for any adventurers that were coming in there. They had a mine cart full of basically a rolling bomb full of oil and stuff like that, and bottom line was we had to retreat out of there. We got attacked by these. We took out some of the kobolds, or whatever, but we got badly injured, had to retreat out, and that was from the previous session. I had forgotten about that when I did my last video. So that occurred, and so that brings us up to the very last session on Friday. We started off basically out camping in the woods trying to heal our wounds from the not only the stuff in the tomb, but then going into that mine and getting hit by the traps by the kobolds. So we were healing up and all that, and it started off our new session on Friday, and the first couple things were that we were getting random encounters. The way it works in this campaign is the DM has us each take turns rolling a d12 to see if there's a random encounter, and we had a couple of them. We had one with some Grimalkin, or not Grimalkin. Take that back. Woodgrew, which are little bat-faced creatures that are in the Dolmenwood. And they had their woodwind instruments that they like to use. They're kind of a bard class for a player character. But NPCs, they got their little woodwind instruments like a flute, whatever type thing. And I had seen that we have a Woodgrew in our party. However, that the Woodgrew was not present at this particular session. So, and it was me that was on, it was myself and our Grimalkin, our little feline player character, that were on guard duty, and they approached wanting to share our fire because they were cold and everything, and I said, okay, no problem, but you got to put away your little woodwind instruments. You got to put them where we can't, or hand them over, because I'm not going to take a chance on you guys casting some kind of spell on us. We don't know you, you're strangers, you're welcome to the fire, but you have to do that. And so they put them away, and they start trading rumors with us and that type of thing. And then at some point, they pulled out their woodwind instruments again, like they were going to play a song. And I said, stop right there, because I don't know if they're pulling them out to really play a song, or if they're going to try and do a charm on us by playing a song and then charming all of us to steal all of our shit. And I said, no, hand it over, put it away, whatever. And at that point, and I drew my sword, I think. My character, Eintz, drew his sword. And to show that he meant business. Well, he didn't draw it. He always keeps it when he's on guard duty, like low ready. And I think he pointed it at them. And that was enough. They skipped out. They said, that's it, we're out. And they just took off. So I guess I intimidated them enough or whatever, but it wasn't worth it to hear any more rumors from them to take a chance on them trying to somehow charm us or whatever. So that's just how my character would react. He's very cautious. and that was one. And then we had another one where we got attacked by basically a headless horseman, um, and we took care of that. And I think there might have been one more, but it wasn't of anything of note. And so basically, it allowed us to do some healing. It allowed our cleric, uh, it's not a cleric, it's not a priest. There's another term that it's used for in this place. A friar. The friar was able to memorize some more spells to heal us and so forth. And so then we headed off, thinking we're going to go back to that mine where the supposed lair of this creature. We didn't make it there. The dragon itself, whatever, it's not necessarily. I don't think it's a dragon, more of a giant lizard type creature, but it does spit acid. Um, we run into it before we even get to the mine, and it's full on battle immediately. So myself and Randy Midnight, the other fighter, we both go charging in to intercept this thing, hoping that the spellcasters and everybody else can do stuff from behind. So we go in and engage this thing, and it puts out. I can't remember if it won the initial initiative. I think it did because it did a breath weapon acid spray thing. This acid spray thing took out our magic user and our Grimalkin, both took them below 0 on hit points, so they're technically dying at that point. The friar did not get hit. Randy Midnight and I took damage, but I think we saved versus the acid or something like that. So we have 2 down now. The friar, he feels hopeless, or he feels helpless. He decides his only action is he can pull them to safety, the down players, which is what he should do, because there wasn't much else he could do. So it's up to me and Randy Midnight. We're fighting this thing, and we're realizing we can't hit this thing unless we roll like an 18 or higher, or 19 and higher. I think I rolled a 17 or an 18 and it missed. And we realized also that only magical weapons are hitting this thing. So because the hide is so tough, and its armor class with the hide is so high, and we're dancing around trying to stick and move on this thing, but we're still taking damage. We can barely hit the thing. Rest of our team's basically gone out of it. So at one point, I decide for my character, using logic, he would say, okay, as a fighter, as a trained fighter, he would think to utilize this thing's weaknesses against it. And he thinks to himself, well, we can't get through this tough hide. We can barely get through it. I hit it once and did some damage, and I only hit it once. And then I decided what I'm going to try to do, because you get a combat action and you get a move action. And I thought, I'm going to basically dive under, because it's tall enough where I can try and basically do like a combat dive under it to get underneath it on my back, and basically try and attack upward into the soft underbelly of the dragon. Hopefully, bypassing the fact maybe it's soft, it doesn't take as high of a roll. The armor class is lower on the soft underbelly. That's my logic going in. So I do that while Randy Midnight is continuing to try and hit this thing. And I for whatever reason, I'm rolling shitty. Even underneath, I'm trying to hit this thing. I'm not able to hit it. But what it does is my action of diving underneath it presents an immediate threat. I get all the threat. So it decides it's going to attack me and me only. Now, this thing has the breath weapon, which is the acid and everything, and then it has, I think it had 2 other attacks. I think it had a bite and a stomp. Because it had like 3 attacks at least. And it's beating the shit out of me. Randy's manages to hit it at least once or something. before it finally kills me. It kills me. It kills Einz dead. Einz is no more. He bit him. I can't remember if I failed my acid at one point. I think I did. Oh, I did get. Yeah, I failed something, and it kept on taking my strength down. My actual my strength originally was 13. Took it down to I think 11, and then it took it down to 10, and then it took it down to 9. So it was taking my strength away from me before it actually killed me, and it killed Einz completely. Meanwhile, Randy is still attacking this thing. One thing that did happen was before they went down with that initial breath weapon, they were trying to put some of that sleep sap that they had that we had used before. They were trying to put that on something to basically, whether it was some food or whatever it was, to try and get it to affect the dragon. So once the friar had gotten them, drugged them off the battlefield, basically, he continued what they had started with trying to get this thing basically poisoned by, I think he put it on some food, and then he tossed it right, as close as he could to the dragon to try and maybe get the dragon to pay attention to it and try and eat it, which would put it to sleep. The dragon wasn't going for it because he was too busy devouring Einz Goldbach. He literally ate my character while Randy Midnight is trying to, and finally kills it. Randy Midnight finally hit a nat 20 critical, the whole bit. He did that. He might have done that a couple times trying to, and I think he was at maybe one hit point. He was on death's door too. But bottom line was, Randy finally kills it. Einz is dead. He's eaten. He's almost consumed. There's only a little bit of him left or whatever. And everybody else survives. So what I said to the party was, Greyhawk 4x4 myself, I said, the only thing that I would hope that you would do for Einz, besides burying whatever's left of him, is that when you go back to the town or whatever, you make sure that he gets proper credit for basically trying to sacrifice himself so that others could live by jumping underneath the belly of the beast and trying to attack, basically, and drawing all the fire, drawing all the attacks, which is what he did. And he died as a result of it. So then, at the end of that, they decide to go back to town. Now, this, unfortunately, I started rolling up a new character. I started rolling up, initially I was going to roll up an investigator, and the investigator is in this particular publication, Nerovia, by Edward Green, which works in conjunction with the OSE rules. And I'm in the process of reading more of this, but the added classes that Edward put in this, the investigator, is the one that really struck my fancy, because it sounded like, to me, like a Van Helsing. If you ever saw the movie Van Helsing, or if you know that Van Helsing was the one who hunted Dracula, or in the original Dracula movies is the one who killed Dracula and all that, or put him to rest, or whatever you call it when you kill an undead. And then there was the movie Van Helsing, which I think was it Viggo Mortensen that played Van Helsing? I think it was. And basically it's like a witch hunter, basically like The Witcher. Like Geralt of Rivia is also a witch hunter. He's the Witcher. He fights. He goes after these unnatural creatures, these monsters, whatever they are, and battles them. Same thing with Van Helsing. And I pictured the investigator as a Van Helsing Geralt type. But the DM, his deciphering of the description was different than mine, and he saw it more as a magic user type, because he can the investigator has two subclasses. It basically has an inquisitor, which is divine, more of a religious type, who hunts, undead and all that types of stuff. And then the witch hunter, which is a more chaotic type, which is what I was going to do, the witch hunter. And they get to use arcane spells only up to level 5. They're capped because they're not a true magic user. They're it's capped. So the source of contention was I thought that the investigator would be able to wear leather armor. The DM said no armor at all. And I said, well, I can't. I'm not doing that. Not in this campaign. This campaign's way too deadly to not have any armor. So I will play a fighter again. So my new character is Zwei Wagner, which, if you know German counting, it's eins, zwei, drei, vier, fünf. So I'm on Zwei now, my second character. And if this one dies, it'll be drei, and then vier and fünf, and all that, So I'm on Zwei now. Zwei Wagner, the second fighter. But so while I was doing that, while I was rolling that up and working on my new character and all that, I wasn't really paying attention to what they were doing because I didn't have a dog in the fight. Like, I had no character to know what was going on in the world at that time. And so towards the end there, my character gets introduced, and off we go. And we go back with my second character. We go into the mines again, and we encountered a few different things. We were trying to get to this pile of gold that we found, but there was these mountains of bugs that came, centipedes and millipedes and all this stuff that infested a couple of the characters, and we were trying to figure out how to get it off of them, and we ended up having to burn it off of them and these types of things. And so I think we ended up getting the gold, some other stuff. But that was basically our foray, the second foray into the mines. And that was basically, where we ended it. So anyway, that is the campaign update. We did defeat the drag. Well, I shouldn't say we. I guess they, because my character died, so it's not really a we. But he went out fighting, so he was basically the tank. And then I got my new character going. We went back to the mines. I'm not sure what business they took care of while I was rolling my new character, but the bottom line was we ended up going back to the mine, dealing with this infestation of bugs and all this types of stuff. So that's where we ended up. So that's it. That is the update on the Dolmenwood campaign. It is a fun campaign. It is a fun the Grimalkins and the Woodgrew and all these different types of creatures and things that we're encountering and all this, and whatever that lizard dragon thing was, whether it actually was a true dragon or whatever. But so we're having a blast, and that is the update, guys. We will be playing again this Friday. So we'll see if I do better with the new characters Vi as I did with Eins. So, hopefully I do better than I did with Eins. So anyway, guys, that's it. That's your update, and until next time, we'll catch you on the flip side.